Welcome back to some professional StarCraft to a top-tier Terran versus Zerg on Data C. He needs no introduction, but in the top right is the most successful player in all of StarCraft 2. It is Serral. The finisher has reached #1 in prize money and in hearts and minds, and is clearly the favorite in essentially every match he joins. But a threat to the man himself in the past, we have the tenacious Terran, the patient people's Terran in the bottom left, or the left side of the map. We have Cure. He might not be the fastest, his micro might not be the flashiest, but that's not how he won GSL against Zest. No. He focused on the details, making sure everything's in the right spot, crossing your T's, dotting your I's, and dropping your Widow Mines. And he continues to have significant success to this day. Even if he'll lose a few more Marines than his counterparts, he usually makes up for it with the amount of SCVs he's built back at home. We're on Data C, though. And I would not be surprised to see a longer match, as this is... It has become our staple. Data C is... Whoa, Serral. Never mind. Okay, cut. Edit that part out. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the 6 Zerglings in production that Serral has kicked things off with. He's got a pool first. I was too busy with my dramatic introduction, expecting a nice, calm, early game. But Serral is, stirring the waters. Just a bit. The first SCV will not spot the Zerglings by that much. Ooh, Serral. A split second too early in Cure. He's going to see the hatchery timing, or lack thereof. And that'll be enough information for him to turn around and come home for, well, what he knows is coming. What he doesn't know is exactly how many Zerglings, or if there's anything to follow it up. Now, Cure does have his expansion. In fact, that was a command center first, so the exact opposite. Wow. I'm so excited to have these two facing off again. I neglected to notice the sheer difference in their builds. The command center first is actually an awkwardly strong counter against the early pool. Why? Because the command center is actually done. It can't be canceled if it's completed. So while Cure is going to lose his reactor on the high ground, nothing else will be taken by the Zerglings. So an awkward start here, but I think it evens out to some extent, as the reactor timing is very important for the Hellions, and with that slowed down, Hellions are not going to be a threat to a Serral who is going to be a little lighter on the creep spread, the queen count, at least early on. I want to take this time to thank Bob Cal. By the way, he updated the observer interface, the modified version we've been using. Hopefully you enjoy it. I personally love, if you look down here, down, not up here, down here, over the minerals and gas income. Not only can we see who's ahead, but exactly how much, updating in real time. So that's always a fun one. We don't have to bring up all these fancy numbers we always got on the screen. And of course, if you want to focus on the action, well, you can always glance away. And of course, Fusion Core! And that's a battlecruiser. In the most dramatic possible segue, a battlecruiser opener from Cure. And against someone who went for a pool first, they're going to have a lower queen count. They're not going to have as much creep spread. And with that, you can exploit. With the battlecruiser, the tactical jump pretty much wherever you want to go. Watch him go for some advanced ballistics. The fusion core is going to be spotted, but that doesn't mean Serral can necessarily do anything about it. He's building a baneling nest, but he's adding drones on. And already, it's very clear that Serral is just going to try to weather this particular barrage. There is maybe a tiny window sometimes when you can go for the counterattack before the battlecruiser finishes, but then you're on the clock. So the battlecruiser will eventually take out almost everything you have on the ground. So we'll have to see if it can get enough done on the other side of the map. The Queen's working on the creep now. Roachhorn is on the way. as I think Serral suspecting potentially mech. Roach Baneling is not the most rare unit composition, but it's definitely not the same as Lingbane on its own. Viking finds 2 Overlords now. One on the other side, one over here. Still intact, and that Roach Warren is definitely the kicker here. We'll see if Serral decides on some mid-game aggression, or just enough Roaches to zone out the Hellions. 3rd command center is done. 2 more factories, so predicted correctly. It is indeed a mech build out of here, taking us to McDonald's. Battlecruiser jumps. And joins up with the Hellions. The Zerglings, no Banelings here, but so many Queens. 8 Queens so far. Battlecruiser wandering into the main. Spire should be spotted right there. And the Spire is really the only direct option for dealing with potentially multiple battlecruisers. In this case, it is going to be at least 2, probably 3. No Yamato cannon weapon refit upgrade until this very moment when I started my sentence. There it is. Spinning up the Yamato. And it's going to be a kind of a classical mech opener. This is what we started to see a lot when the battlecruiser was first buffed to attack while moving. And oh, could it be Hell Clones? Would it be Hell Clones? Should it be Hell Clones? Well, Kira's already answered the question. No. Looks like we're going to go into a more conventional siege tank style mech focused on locking things down and making sure he's covered all his bases in every way possible. Wow, the Hellions getting in 10 drones. And a key 10 drones now, and he gets out with the Hellions. It is not so far on that Serral is not feeling that. He doesn't have his 4th base done. The larva count is something... A lot of... I always talk about how the larva is not flashy. Larva inject and larva management are definitely some of the least exciting and most white-collar Zerg things you've ever heard. But it's also the way players like Serral and Dark and Raynor are able to just get more drones and more units. They're always on top of those injects and managing their larva effectively and not losing drones. And they don't need to, of course. Kira just runs by again. He's going to get a few more. Serral bounced up to 77 drones, but Kira's going to roast him down again a bit. 6 down thus far. Yamato cannon, nearly done. Hellions coming in. Yes, there are roaches, but they don't kill them immediately. A few drones sacrificed for the greater good. And in fact, they're able to help zone out with the roaches. So, the slight roasting on either side, the 3rd and the 4th bases, is at an end for now, as Serral has put together enough roaches. Battle cruisers, though, wandering across. Corruptors on the way. Corruptors necessary at some point to deal with the battle cruisers. Ideally, you get them out there before the battle cruisers get to your side of the map, because the tactical jump cooldown is everything. If they're allowed to just coast their cruisers in and get those Yamatos off over and over, that's essentially unchallenged damage. Yamato is done. He just jumps away, fires a shot with the 2nd. Corrosive Bile ain't happening. Jumps home. Yep, Cure testing the waters, but not finding much. Is that Megfield Accelerator? Cyclones to help zone out the Corruptors. Not necessarily the first choice here, but a good one as a spot defense. Right now, Cure isn't quite at that 4-base economy. He's working on his 4th command center now, but with 4 bases, he should have the gas to go for Thors alongside all the rest of these upgrades. Oh my god, Octo Factory! The production line! The factories are spun up and running here. And it is going to be Hell Clone. I guess partially forced out by the Corruptors, but Serral, 189 supply. Bunch of Corruptors looking for the command center. Corrosive Bile trying to take it down. Oh my god, a massive burst knocks the command center out of the sky. Serral says, sit down and shut up. Cure obliges for now. Immediately rebuilds a command center in the exact same spot. But that is his economy and the rest of his tech slowed down significantly. And now Serral is maxed out. He's building another Baneling nest. He may have forgotten, or I guess he canceled the first one in favor of the Roachhorn earlier, now that I look at it. Ravagers working in from the north side. There's a lot of tanks, but they're well protected behind depots and the base itself. The Ravager's not going to at least remotely cost-effectively move in there, but Cure unleashes a volley of Yamato cannon. Knocks out 3 Ravagers. Here so far, let's look at the units lost. He's lost 50 gas. I don't even know where. I think he canceled something. Yeah, he hasn't lost any gas base. Oh, the reactor. He lost the reactor. That's it so far, but... well, Ravagers, Lings in front to help buffer. Good target fire from Cure is going to add a little bit of extra damage. The battlecruisers, preempting things, jump away. Cure trying to take his 4th to command center. The second attempt is done. Doesn't want to see the same thing happen to it. Tanks just moving their way forward, slowly edging towards the army. The army trying to zone out. 3 battle cruisers, plus 1 air or flyer attack. Helps out a bit. Another volley takes out a tank. But Cure's army supply is getting better and better. Zergling drop in the main, easily cleaned up by the reinforcements out of the factories. Vehicle plating level 2 completing. Melee attacks level 1. I believe that's more for the Banelings than anything else, as Zerglings are going to evaporate with a strong look from some of these Hellions. Banelings, though, a potential counter to the Hellmats, and just something to help bash through the lines. Cure with a beautiful wall over here. The Queens are creeping forward. Serral has spread his creep across the vast majority of the map, and is now banging down the door to the north. A Nidus network. Serral gonna try to end it. If he can't do it at the 3rd, he's gonna go to the main. But for now, another volley of corrosive bile. Yamato cannon. Corruptors over the top. Still the battlecruisers intact. Definitely losing some gas units here now. No swarm hosts yet. Hive still not quite complete. A little bit of a later hive considering the situation. A lot of players will try to rush that out against mech. Oh, but the Hellions get by, and Serral actually drags all his Roaches and Ravagers back because the Zerglings just aren't cutting it. 16 drones down, 69 left. Not really a nice situation for Serral having to bring all this back. So the end results... the end result being Cure holds. He hasn't lost really a critical amount of anything. He's going to get his 4th secured. And his mech army is approaching a max out. Serral's adding on Vipers. He's adding on Infestors. He's adding on upgrades of every flavor. Nidus on the way. Overlord speed done for a while yet. Thor's in production. And Cure is just settling. Cure has kind of given up on the idea of directly attacking Serral for, well, probably since the first battlecruiser jumped across the map. Sure, Hellions. You don't want to just let him go, but otherwise, Cure's just settled in for the defense. Battlecruisers deal with the Nidus. Not even any ship weapons upgrades, just laying into the damage. The tank line looking mighty thick here. Without Viper, it's going to be nearly impossible to deal with. Serral getting, well, a lot of everything with Hive. Greater Spire. A second Spire. Neural Parasite. Consuming with the Vipers. He's going to try to break through with the ground army at least once or twice. And then Brood Lords are on the horizon. Ravagers, Banelings, Roaches. Oh my. Here, still finding opportunities to move out. This army can be pretty ridiculously cost-effective against small amounts of units. Of course, in a larger fight, needs some support. The Queens. Brenda, no! The battle cruisers! Oh, God. They didn't even need a teleport for this one. unleashing the Yamato cannons, the queen count. A lot of high-energy queens taken down. Battle cruisers jump away to safety. The Hell clone snipes a base. Ghost Academy on the way. Cure, on realizing the infestors and the vipers and well, corruptors, which soon could easily be broodlords existing. The best complement to the mech army, the ghosts. As the Thors themselves are quite vulnerable to the spell casting of the vipers and infestors, the ghosts can EMP the vipers. They can snipe, well, quite literally every Zerg unit. And of course their auto attack is not bad against Zerglings and Banelings in general. Right now, Cure trying to take another base. The battle cruiser's over to the north side. Tanks doing a lot of damage, but Blinding Cloud is whittling down their damage potential. Battle cruisers, Fungal. Tactical jump is off cooldown, loses one, jumps the rest away. Over to his newest base. Let's just see if the Ravagers can land any hits. Neural Parasite on one of the Thors, that's one way to deal with it. Target fire on the Infestor isn't quite there. Volleys of Corrosive Bow almost kill. The Thor! The Thor, the best counter to the battle cruiser. It takes it down. Cure doesn't actually find an opportunity to target the Infestor. Well, if you can't build them, hire them. In this case, Serral choosing his best option to counter the Thors, which is of course the Thors. Unfortunately, in this fight, in the follow-up here, a scan came down, the Infestors were targeted, and Serral is rebuked with great prejudice. So far, he has mined several thousand more gas. We're still working on taking the bases on either side of the map. Cure is struggling to hold on to his own bases, let alone move out and deal with the creep. SCV's looking for an opportunity. Well, right now, 71 SCVs. Still a solid number. We're still in the plenty phase of mining. Only the main and the natural are starting to mine out. Serral's still pretty far off on his side. Mules are quite a thing. As time goes on, we'll get closer and closer to dropping that worker count. A planetary on the high ground. Not waiting till the ultra late game. Already knows what he needs. Yanks in a couple of the Thors. The Ghost Academy was built a while back, but I don't think we've seen any ghosts in production. So Cure's still very vulnerable to these spellcasters. Serral in the bottom right as well. Not too many base. Just spray and pray. Cure. Okay. It's a little forgivable when you have Marines. But when you're losing Thors, just kind of wandering into Ravagers. That is... that's not how you beat Serral. Well, Cloak is on the way for the Ghosts. 2 Ghosts in production, but Brood Lords for the finisher. Looking for the knockout blow, and with just a handful of Thors and essentially no Ghosts on the field. It's been a valiant defense, but overall, Cure isn't even maxed out. He's got good upgrades, but his army supply... close to Serral's, as Serral has 86 drones right now. Battle Cruiser is getting chased by a third of Serral's entire army here, the Ravagers. Now this, yeah. Can't land here. Looks like someone's squatting on the property. A hatchery hanging out. 4 Thors. More adding on. The battle cruiser is grabbed. It turns its coat. He holds it still, knocks it. Shh. It's okay. It's okay. And the battle cruiser is removed. About as surgical as you can get. We've got Liberators, Ghosts, Advanced Ballistics, Neo-Steel Armor. As that Fusion Core called in to upgrade again. The classical late game. Cure is cutting out all those units, all those weak and boring units like Siege Tanks, Vikings, Bio Hellbats, and focusing on what matters. Ghosts, Thors, occasionally Liberators. Cure's actually a big fan of the Liberator siege style. A lot of players are kind of more focused on the Ghost Thor, but Cure does like being able to hold that position from range. Now the Broodlords begin the siege. Spine Crawlers. Cure is sieging from the high ground with his tank onto the base, which awkwardly Serral has taken. So Serral's taken a full extra base that Cure, if it comes down to it, then Serral will have essentially an entirely extra base of mining. Another 4,500 gas. Cure has to deal with these first Broodlords, though. Ghosts are out. Cloak is ready. One badly bruised Overseer here, but a whole lot of spores in the Sporist underneath. Medevacs being built for the Ghosts here. A scan spots the Broods heading towards the main. The Broodlords will begin sieging Cure's main base, awkwardly now, as the air distance, as we've already seen, is incredibly short. Nuclear missile on the way. Cure likes making things interesting. The nuclear siege strat is, we haven't seen it in a while. When Maru was making like 100 nukes. Oh, come on, Cure. Oh my, well, that is not the best usage of Ghost there. Being very generous. The Thors on the entire other side of the map. Tanks to support them. Almost like two entirely different games being played out right now. Broodlords trying to move up. Couple Thors attempting to deal with them, but overwhelmed and have to be evacuated. Thors turning towards Serral's side. Serral's Thors beating Cure's Thors into submission. I dare say Serral has better Thor micro than Cure has throughout this match. Just a kind of an obscenely lackadaisical... Cure is losing a lot of units to his own units and in positions they almost certainly shouldn't be. Now, that is kind of the trademark of the People's Terran. But this is definitely one of the most egregious examples I've seen of it. He still has not lost more gas than Serral has. I'm pretty sure if a unit is neural parasited... Wait, has Serral lost Thors? I'm not actually sure how it shows up in the unit's lost tab. I have to assume it shows up correctly. But this is... Rarely do you have multiple thousands of minerals and gas dying while neural parasited. But here we are, as Serral has hired Thors very temporarily as the best counter to their counterparts. And right now he's pushing in. Spore Crawlers, how much gas? 38 gas, 0 gas, so not much. 38 gas and 0 minerals left at this base, so here, a couple Liberators yanked into this forest. Cure has managed to grab the rich Vespine base. He's going to be able to mine that out pretty quick. Serral has 4,000 gas in the bank. He's now mined 7,000 more and 8,000 more minerals. Cure cannot keep this up forever. He's barely maxed out. He's adding on infantry upgrades for the Ghost. Nuclear missile at his own third base right now, which is definitely a choice. That Ghost, all right. The Nibbly boys, the Broodlings, able to get a good meal out of him. Cure's army. Well, Serral actually has down to 55 drones. His spores per minute is increasing. He has 143 army supply. His army value is 7,600 gas and 8,700 minerals, far outstripping that of Cure. Another volley of Broodlings heading in. Hellbats able to dispatch them. The real damage from Broodlings is the Broodlord attack, the Broodling strike. that initial valley. The underneath, well, the broodlings underneath are more to make it very difficult to close the distance on that broodlord army. No, not again. Okay, so you can't neural parasite a dropship with units in it. Unfortunately. You don't get 2 for the price of 1, or 10. So, if that Thor gets loaded up into the medevac, it is safe from neural parasite. But, you know, not corruptor, so... you do have to still be vigilant. The Liberator with the most comprehensive coverage of this base as it begins unloading on the drones. Cure is actually managing to take this northern base. Serral only mined about 1/3 of the gas here. Same is true for Cure's northern base. We're actually cutting the map in half, top down. Usually it's more of a side-to-side slice, east and west, but we're going north and south. Another nuke on the way. The Liberator racks up 10 drone kills. Annoying. Half of this is just to keep Serral busy. Alright, get over here. The Vipers, watch. Watch while I suck the life out of my own hatchery, and you die. The Liberator forced to endure that. What are we watching? He loads up 2 Hellbats, dropped out 2 Hellbats, loaded up 2 Hellbats again. Guess he decided that's what he wanted. High-sec auto-tracking. Now finishing up the sensor tower count. He has 5 of them, covering the entire... Can we... Yep. Okay, well... He knows where to scan. How many orbitals? 8 orbitals. So even if he didn't know where to scan, he probably could eventually find where that army is. The Hellbats wandering their way in. The nuclear... Cure is nuking Serral from his own main. Unfortunately, the nuke can't even travel that far. The broodling count just unleashed upon it. Hellbats at the top left base. How many broodlords now? 22. And he's adding more. You need just an obscenely overwhelming number. How many ghosts? 8 ghosts on the field. The broodlord count has to be, like, ideally at least double the Thors. Well, the Liberator's yanked in. The Viper's getting a ton of work done. The medevac as well. Serral's Viper control is second to absolutely none. Broodlords, some of them eating that splash damage from the Thors. One of them in the wrong mode there. Broodlings raining down. Cure just kind of getting ground away. Oh, he's using his own broodlings. The endless broodlings. Something dark did a while. Oh my god. Some of the time here, I'm reasonably sure he's using the dark strat of using your own broodlings. So, what are you doing, step broodling? Succeeding you, my slightly older brother. Which, I'm surprised it took us 12 years to get to this level of cannibalization, but here we are. Five more Thors on the way. Cure seems intent on the more Thor than Ghost heavy composition. He's got 6 Ghosts in the mix. There are 9 Infestors and 3 Vipers, so it's not like Serral's super heavy on the Spellcasters. He's leaning almost entirely on the Broodlords, and the Broodlords are leaning heavily into the main base of Cure. It looks like Cure's just going to go across the map. In one of the most lumbering base trades he could possibly have. The Ghost fought out EMPs off the mark. They do have enhanced shockwaves, but the Infestors are way too far. Cure is trying to force Serral into an awkward position without all his spellcasters brought to bear. But Thors are not the most agile creatures. Neither are Broodlords, to be incredibly and obviously clear. Oh, wow. How many Thors have died? 18 Thors so far. He's now lost 1,500 more gas. More factories being built. Cure actually lost several factories in his main. He's down to 6. That doesn't seem like a very low number. Well, how are you going to make 8 Thors at a time and then lose half of them? It's a very good question. A nuke? I don't know how he got a ghost all the way back there. Serral. He has a Nidus in the main, but he also could probably just walk in at this rate. And the nuke... Whoa, whoa, whoa! The nuke! Gonna kill like 6 drones! 5 drones! Hellbats just immolated every single Zergling that tried to come in from the front door of the main. Cure is still pretty much maxed out. What is the mining looking like? Serral has mined 3k more. The units lost are in favor of Serral now. Cure has been remarkably inefficient with his Thors. Wait. Oh, Serral is remaking a hive. So he must have already had another lair. Nuke launched into the gap. I have no... Oh, the ghost is found. At least some of the nukes have landed, but... Oh my god, the Thor dies! What a save! What a save! He loses it to the cracklings there. Wait, Serral doesn't have adrenal glands. He doesn't have the Zergling attack speed upgrade, which, you know, to be honest, fair... As most of the time, the Zerglings just evaporate to Hellbats anyways. Well, Cure settling in. He didn't actually kill the hive, but Serral's gonna have a new one anyways. As we figure out exactly how many minerals are on this map. The ghost count at 6, Thors at 13, Broodlords at 25. A line of creep, as we may actually slowly but surely trade bases entirely. The Broodlords continue to besiege the main. Cure finally remembers his buildings can lift, unfortunately not the orbital. How many corruptors are left? 0. He's making every single corruptor into a Broodlord. Three Vipers. Full energy there. But the ghosts, of course, an imminent threat. Oh, one ghost. He spots the infestors. EMP lands. Wipes out half the energy. Not enough energy for a second EMP. Cure, unfortunately, didn't bring more than one ghost in. A nuke. He still had the academy in the main. Oh, there's no way. There's no way he falls for that. Serral knows. That's a lot of, like... It's going to land. But, once again, the main base, the Greater Spire, will need to be rebuilt. Zerglings are being built. Cure still very obligingly defending his main, where there's a Ghost Academy building a nuke, an engineering bay, and a fusion core. I'm not sure which of those is the weirdest one to still have. Thor's working on the main. At some point, like, there are only so many buildings left. Cure has slowly but surely... Well, I was gonna say slowly but surely evened out the gas bank, but... Serral has mined a few thousand more. Cure was able to nab the base Serral was mining at. So... that actually still had a lot of gas there. The boys will now be sacrificed as Cure realizes that 70 SCVs is probably about 30 too many. Serral will help him out. Don't run away. Don't repair. I love how they're on auto repair. Hold me. Hold me. Are those Broodlords? Yes. Serral realizes now on remaking his spawning pool that he didn't have adrenal glands. The main bases are gone. This is one of the most slow base trades I have ever seen. But indeed it is one. And by base trades, I mean more mutually assured destruction and less actually taking the opponent's base. It's just gone. Armories being rebuilt. 2 of them. He's maxed on armory upgrades, but can never be too careful. It's just a reflex, really, to build 2 armories. Though there is really no purpose in it at this point. The worker count continues to dip. Serral is now up to 29 Broodlords. Cure is adding in a few Vikings. 3 Thors. He loves Thors. Though he's lost a ridiculous amount of 21 Thors to just 5 Broodlords dead. Those maxed out Hellbats. The Hellchats. Once they get the armor upgrades and +3 attack, they one-shot Zerg. Those Zerglings literally... They essentially have the Radiance item from Dota 2, where there's just an aura of fire. I guess it's in a cone, so if the Zerglings somehow find a way around... Whoa, what is this? Anti-armor missile and Dorito dusting on a clump of the Broodlords. The Hellbats just don't really care and kill the hatchery. Cure notices moments later. The SCVs, is he trying to sacrifice them, or are they for repair? I don't know at this point. The army supplies approaching 200. The Broodlord count going into the 30s, as most of us watching would understand. That was an age joke. Another nuke. Just kind of throwing it out there. It's really your best chance to hit is aiming wherever Serral isn't and hoping he wanders into it. Well, several creep tumors unhappy about that. You can also trigger broodlings off changelings. So that is another thing. The broodling cannibalization and also the changeling target practice. Unleashing waves of broodlings on his own creep tumors as well. All of it's energy based. Just a tsunami of broodlings. A ridiculous amount. Over 60 broodlings per wave. The carnage floats up to the sky. They're definitely going to be wondering what's going on down there on the surface. Anti-armor missile, but that doesn't matter much unless the Thors can close the distance. The ghost count growing. Changeling. I mean, okay. Does he use the changelings or? Oh, looks like yeah, the Thor's gonna get a shot. The nuke putting a timer on things. Yeah, it's a little behind the lines there. Pushes the spores back, and both sides kind of part the nuke sea. Yeah, a couple spores just. Hey, the radius really isn't that large. The nuke's slightly dodged slightly to the side. Well, anti-armor missile hits every single Broodlord. The Raven does die, but Serral's got to be a little careful here. Queen wanders in to the Venn diagram of freedom. The Thors are blasting through. A wave of Broodlords. Snipes coming out. EMP. The Thors are just so tanky, but the Broodlords are dangerous. He's using Thors like static defense, which I guess they're probably the closest unit to static defense outside of siege tanks, but the Thors are essentially on hold position, if not actually, as Cure's mechanized push. Oh, blinding cloud, getting a lot done. The ghost not able to find the snipes from the side. Caught between a rock and a hard place, many of those Thors. Vikings, there's actually no corruptors. Yeah, there's no corruptors. Everything, a Thor stolen. Cure just obliterates it instead of allowing it to do any damage to his liberators. The overlapping fields of liberators. But as time goes on... Oh my. Well, Cure's mining out of gas. Serral's mined about 5,000 more. He got about one more base of gas. But all of the gas on the map, besides the 38... Is that it? Are we out? Is he empty? Yeah, that's it. Just, oh wait, no, there's 250 gas because Cure only had 2 out of 3 in gas. I take it back. Serral, there's no more gas. We're out of gas. Wow. Okay. Once again, besides that 38 in this geyser. Serral has 4,800 in the bank. These armies are entirely irreplaceable. 6,700 and 10,000 gas. The mineral banks are redonkulous, of course, but Vipers trying to get close. Overseer blasts out the sky. If too many Overseers go down and the spores are forced to move, then the Ghost can cloak. And that has never gone well for Zergs in the past. The Broodlings unleash. The Ghost caught behind this one little cliff here, which seems to be the massive point of contention. Queen's on the way. Maybe Cure will rediscover bio. Though he doesn't have the mineral... Well, he doesn't have the gas to actually get bio upgrades if he wants to go for Marines. I doubt we'll end up there. EMP. Some more EMPs, but those ghosts! Oh, the Broodlings chasing them down. Only 4 ghosts left. Remaking with his last few drops of gas. Cure has not been particularly protective of his valuable units throughout the game. But despite all that, the sheer line, the wall of steel, or whatever they make those Thors out of, multiple screens of Thors, overlapping liberation zones in the middle of the map. That one little rock, that cliff there, making things so difficult as Serral finds an angle to work off of over the top. Feeling a little bit more like an Age of Empires than a StarCraft game at the moment. 300 gas. Yeah, that's it. We're empty. Just that one gas geyser with 38. Everything else is completely gone. The gas income... Wow, the number just goes away. Nobody's winning in the gas income counter. There's just nothing left. 9,000 minerals. For both sides. Over 9,000. The board is set. The chess pieces are here. And very few of them can be replaced. Cure can't really replace any of his units. Maybe a couple ghosts or a medevac. 1 Thor. Serral can replace about 1/3 of his army, maybe. The Blinding Clouds. Well, the Blinding Clouds are heading things off, but the Hellbat's still doing pretty well. The ghosts attempt the snipes. They don't find it. The Thors are just pounding their way through. The Broodlord count still very... The Broodlord count is still at 31. I don't think he lost a single Brood there. Cure moving forward. Oh, he definitely lost a Broodling there. Broodlord there. Liberators dragged out. The Liberators were zoning out the Infestors. The Infestors could use Neural Parasite if they can close the distance. Even a Spine Crawler getting in there. There's only 3 ghosts left. The Thors are blasting through. Cure is really not trying to keep those ghosts alive. He loses another one. He's down to 2. Without EMP, the Vipers are once again on the table. Zerglings added in. Neural Parasite. Broodling, or Banelings rather, crashing through. And Cure's army is crumbling as the Broodlings overrun the feet of the Thors and tear them down. The Broodlord count down to 18. Only 4 Thors left. Vikings, a couple snipes showing up. Oh, Fungals. The Vikings doing some damage. Cure has 0 gas left. He used it all on repair for these Thors. There's no, like, he can't build any anti-air besides poorly upgraded Marines without stim. The Broodlord count is at 13. It feels like Cure just ran out of steam. He just ran out of gas. At no point did it really feel like he was threatening Serral. Now, the game's not over yet. The Broodlings are evaporating to the Hellbats, but the Broodling strikes are whittling through them. I don't know if there's any real opportunity. The Thors are doing a lot of damage as Serral just kind of stopped microing his Broodlords. But it's not enough. It's not remotely close to enough. It's not even in the same zip code as enough. Serral holds. Cure's going for... Is he going for a base trade? How many queens are out? There's still 4,000 minerals. Serral's out of gas. But he still has 16. Okay, there is a non-zero chance of a draw. Wait, there's a very non-zero chance of a draw. Cure doesn't know how much money Serral has. But if Serral actually spends his last gas and doesn't have any corruptors left, then he can't kill the flying buildings in the corner of the map. I seriously doubt it comes to that. But if Serral just decides to build Broodlords and doesn't have enough left for corruptors, that's when the 38 extra gas may come in. Oh my god. Okay, he's building one corruptor. He's got one corruptor. The Hellbats! Oh my god. Broodling's trying to come in, but that's gas. You can't make... I mean, Baneling's trying to come in. So many lings. The queens are dying. The times of plenty have ended. There's going to be one corruptor. And that one corruptor may be all the difference between Cure and a draw. What am I watching? The Hellbats are... Like, Cure doesn't have that many minerals left. And also, he's buying Serral's minerals with the mules! He mined the last minerals with the mules! If this comes down to like 40 minerals, well... There's one corruptor. Serral has one corruptor. I'm reasonably... He doesn't have enough gas. Oh, he's mining more of the minerals! Ah! Okay. Well, Serral... the upside here for Serral is he doesn't have enough gas to accidentally make the last corruptor into a Broodlord. Right now, quite literally, Cure can count how much is left. He's been scanning constantly, the constant map hacks here. There's a few minerals. He may drop some more mules in the back here. Yeah, there's actually, well, yeah, there's actually a couple thousand more minerals. And I don't know. It's just not quite close enough. He sees one corruptor. He sees one corruptor. Oh my. There's always a chance that corruptor just dies to turrets or something. But will he fight to that end? That corruptor is the only thing right now between this game and a draw. Straight up. If that corruptor did not exist, this game has no conclusion. Cure knows the scans. He's gonna drop mules. Each one of those grabs just a handful of minerals and takes it away. But those handful of minerals, yeah, they're not gonna make it home. They just get deleted from the map. Serral, in the ultimate showing of patience here. Well, the scan. That one corruptor. Wow, the queens. The ultimate early and late game. 21. GG! It just ends! Like that? That's how it ends! That's how 49 minutes of my life ends. Cure with some of the most questionable Thor and Ghost micro, but Serral takes advantage of it, and despite all the losses, it still almost came down to a draw. We were one corruptor. I don't know if Cure truly realized it, though he was scanning constantly. We were one corruptor away from a draw. That's how close this was. There are no Zerg units that only cost minerals that can fly and hit floating command centers. Wow. Alright, well. Thank you for watching. Yeah. Thank you for being here with me. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Like, subscribe, check out this video, second channel, if you're into it. See you next time. Stay chill.